What do you think the government needs to do on the domestic front from giving a further impetus to reforms?
Yeah. No, Siddharth, I think the government has been doing a lot. Even if you look at the last 1 week, bringing out the scheme on R&D, bringing out the scheme on ELI, which were announced in budgets a while back. But in getting them on the ground, putting the details out, I think is good. And also setting up the manufacturing commission, because now a lot of reforms that are required are actually required. They're not relating to one ministry. They're actually span many ministries, and also states play a much more pivotal role than center. So creating a commission like that really helps in creating a platform where all the issues can be discussed, all the stakeholders are there, private sector also participates in that. So I think building that infrastructure, building that institution, and moving that forward is very important. And the second is the high-powered committee on ease of doing business, on regulatory reforms that's been created. That again encompasses various governments, state governments, various ministries. So I think these two are very important. And I would say, if given that there are three, four things from a manufacturing standpoint where I think competitiveness can be focused on. One is, if you look at PLI schemes, about in whatever name, form, shape you can give. Some are PLI, some are called something else. But incentive for manufacturing, if you use to broad nomenclature, there are about 18 schemes that have been launched till now. Total allocation for them is in excess of 3 lakh crores. About 30,000 or some number in that sort of order has been utilized out of that. And some of the schemes have been very successful, like electronic scheme, or semiconductor has a massive allocation. It's also got good reception. 4 participants have come forward. Defense has done well. Some have done reasonable, some have done sort of partly achieved the objectives, and then some that have not. So I think those PLI schemes that haven't fully achieved the objective, we must first ensure that those PLI schemes are modified to say that the purpose for which they were created is achieved. And some newer PLI schemes, specifically in areas which are labor intensive manufacturing, and in areas which deal with more advanced manufacturing, I think they are very critical that we get that. So I would say that's first level, that's very important. The second is, if you have to make manufacturing competitive, the factor cost of production have to come down. So whether it's land, whether it is logistics, whether it's energy, I would say in logistics and energy, costs have come down as compared to earlier, but there's still some ways to go. There are things that we can do which can make India even more competitive. So in energy, as you have more and more renewable, the transmission infrastructure has to grow at a much rapid pace than where it is today. I think that acceleration needs to happen. Distribution structure needs to be efficient so that you don't have cross subsidies happening. So whether you can privatize the way some states have done in the past, what UP is doing right now, you can also look at listing. You can also look at creating more franchise structures through which you privatize. We talked about open access. That's not been implemented in many states. So if you can create more open access and get that implemented, so your energy cost becomes even more competitive. And land is something where we need to do more work, because if you really want to build manufacturing at scale, then you need the availability of land at reasonable cost and fairly quickly, and unencumbered land. And I'll not get into the details, but there are a bunch of things which CII has recommended to the government from land standpoint, what can be done. The one place where you see which has been very successful from a manufacturing standpoint is electronics. And one of the things you had in electronics was you had a very good PLI scheme, and you had some very good anchor tenants who came and who developed. So as India needs to hook up into the global value chains of 5 or 6 sectors where India has either a big demand or has competitive strengths, and ensure that we get the big players in, help them settle in, get the right incentive scheme structure, ensure that the duty structures are attractive, and then push the manufacturing. Once they come in, the other ecosystem players will start coming in, and the whole thing will become much more impactful and much more effective. So I would say the linkage with the entire global value chain also becomes very critical. And then there are just the ease of doing business, whether it's environmental clearances, NOCs, number of approvals that are required to set up a hotel, number of approvals required to set up a hospital. If you have to set up a hospital with a diagnostic center and a pharmacy, you have 300 approvals that are required. A number of approvals that are required to set up a normal manufacturing unit. I think we just need to compress the time for that. And MSMEs in particular need much greater support, specifically financial support, so that they can achieve the scale. Our government has taken some very good action there. But at some stage, if we can create a sovereign wealth fund, and park some of the disinvestment, go aggressively on some disinvestment, and create a sovereign wealth fund, which helps in working with the which is money is either used for MSMEs or is used for areas of so that India can build supply chain resilience in some areas where a lot of policy support and capital is required. I think that money will be much better utilized. Then obviously the government is getting dividends, share value appreciation is happening, but I still think the strategic gain that the government will get through that and the country will benefit from that will be much more.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.